everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to do the third part of the new series that I started where I answer your questions. It's going to be kind of a color and chat, and while I'm coloring I am going to answer the questions that y'all asked me. I had made a post in my Facebook group for you all to submit your questions, and I'm just kind of going in order and answering all of those. And I also did one on my community tab on YouTube, and I tacked those on to the end of the questions I was asked in my Facebook group because I had put that post up second. So I really kind of wanted to go in order. So if you're one of the ones that asked me a question on YouTube and you're wondering why your question's not been answered yet, I will get to those. I'm going to try to get to all of the questions. Some of the questions were more of I want to see how to do this sort of kind of thing, to where it would be more of a tutorial. So those will be saved for some really great video ideas that you guys were able to give me by doing that. If you enjoy videos like this and you want to continue seeing my content, please do make sure you subscribe to my channel and also turn your bell notifications on. I'm working really hard to get to 10,000 subscribers, so I would really like to hit that goal. If you like this video, please do make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you check the description box below, you will find links down there for my Facebook group as well as my email list. And I also have a link down there if you would like to join me on Patreon. Let's go ahead and start answering some of these questions. As you know, if you saw my previous videos in this series, I have been coloring in Nightfall by Maria Trolle. I love this book. It's one of my favorites. And I am using the 120 set of Brutfuner pencils. If you've not seen those videos, I'll make sure that playlist for everything I've done with these pencils is linked in the upper right hand corner. I have reviewed them. I have put them in perfect color family order. I have done just about everything with these pencils. So if you would like to see any of those videos, you can check the playlist. If you are looking for a swatch chart that has a place to list the number and the name, as with these pencils, and to be able to swatch, or the space to be able to swatch them out, there is a file in the file section of my Facebook group that you can use and follow along with the video that I created where I put them all in perfect color family order, and you can swatch all your pencils out with ease because I did it all for you. So that's fun, right? This is the page that I've been coloring, and it's taking me a little while to color it because it's kind of hard to answer your guys' questions and kind of show you a little bit of what I'm doing at the same time with the oil-based pencils, because the last video was a little bit of a tutorial too. I showed you how I was choosing my colors, and I kind of colored while I was answering, and so it kind of takes a little bit of my concentration away from being able to color. But I'm using the color catalog by Sarah Renee Clark, which is a fabulous tool, and I'm going to show you this just really quick because I don't know how many of you saw my last video where I chose colors, but this is a really fantastic tool. You could see you've got you could browse by colors, you could browse by keywords or collections, and I'm following a color palette from the color catalog to be able to color this picture with, and then I'm just using the boxes on the color palette to choose my colored pencils. And I have plenty of videos on my channel where I show you how I do that, but somebody had mentioned they wanted to see how I chose the color palette, or how you use this before they had decided to purchase it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you again. But the way that I did it is I just went right here and I clicked on to choose by colors, and I wanted to be able to match up the roof here because I was going to follow another color palette, and then I kind of decided against it. And I wanted to be able to have green in my color palette, so I went searching a little bit more. And if I look here really closely, I pulled this up on my phone because it's much easier for me to be able to look at the colors and kind of match them up rather than having it on my iPad. And of course it's harder to tell if it was on my PC is in front of me, and it's kind of hard to tell if you're not holding it right up against. And there is a printable version of this too that comes with it when you purchase it. So if you wanted to, if you had a really good printer that the colors would actually match up when they were printed, you could have the actual sheets of the actual color palettes and all of this right in front of you and put it in a binder. But this is the ultraviolet. It matched up really, really well. And of course I could stretch it and you could see that that is a pretty good match. So what I did was I clicked on that and it took me to all the ultraviolet color palettes. I looked for the one that was under the ultraviolet section that I liked that also had green in it. So it brought me to this one. It is color palette 205 for those of you that have the color catalog. But this is volume 1. There is volume 1 and volume 2. You can purchase volume 1 individually, or you could purchase both of them for a little bit of a discount. And there are also color companions that come along with it that give you the actual color palette, and it actually matches it up to the specific colored pencil in your colored pencil sets. I believe right now that she has Prismacolor available and Luminance available. She's got one for Copics and several other pencil sets. I think she's working on Derwent Inktense as well as the Black Widows. And if you purchase this now, she will send you all of that in email as they become available, but they're supposed to be available in March. But this is a wonderful tool. And then what I did is I just took this and I screenshotted it so that I could keep it in my photos so that I would always have it, so I could go back and refer to it to match up my pencils the next time I came back to the page. So that's a little bit about the color catalog. I'll have a link down below in the description box for you to purchase this if you're interested. Today I really want to start on coloring the wings of this dragonfly. I don't know, I'm just kind of in the mood to move up there. And as you can see in the last video, I colored these bushes here in the front, and I did not see the part of the bushes that is kind of laying back here behind the little gates. And so I need to go back and finish those, but I'm not going to finish them on the video. I'll do those off camera. You guys already saw how I colored the bushes. And I do want to go back and do these flowers, and I want them to be pink. And I was going to show you guys a little trick with that on how you would color a very small area and still make it look like it has highlights. But I think today that I really want to do this dragonfly because I don't know, I really want to do those wings. And I kind of have an idea for them, but I'm going to use the colors that I've been using. I'm looking at my color palette here. I'm going to take this pink here on my swatch sheet. I'm going to enlarge it so we can really see the color really well. That is the beauty of this thing. I really love it just because I can spread it out and I'm not losing. Like when I go and I download pictures from Pinterest and stuff like that, it seems that I kind of lose some of the color within the image because you're kind of spreading the pixels out. But this is such good quality that when I spread it out, it's like I could spread it out so far and I could still see the actual color, which is really cool to me. But there's nothing on the swatch sheet that is exact in this pencil set. So we're just going to come up with a couple different colors that we could kind of mix together and use this color as a starting point. And I'm looking at this color 106 here, or maybe this strawberry icing. And I wanted to go with the colors that I have on the roof because I want these wings on the dragonfly to be kind of all pink and purple. So I'm kind of trying to see what we could mix together, but we could go with this. I think we should try this 106 and then maybe do it with something that has a little bit of a contrast, like possibly this 070 or maybe even this 011 would be really pretty. These would be really pretty together because this is going to give it a really nice highlighted effect. And then there's this flamingo color that is really beautiful as well. I think that these two are going to be enough of a difference in the values to really make it kind of pop and give it the look that I want it to have. So, my phone turned. So here's our color. So we're going to use this 106, and then we're going to mix it with the 011, and we're going to pick something else. I just am not sure what yet. So let me go ahead and pull those. Let me explain to y'all what I did a little bit off camera. I took my swatch sheets and I picked out the colors, and I picked out those two colors that I showed you. So I've got my 011 and my 106. And when I colored the roof of this house, I used, I'm going to go ahead and tell you all the colors because somebody had asked me what the colors were that I was using, and I don't know, I thought that I told you all, but I have 089, 053, and 112. And I also, in the roof, used this 104. Wait a second, I think I mixed them up. No, I didn't mix them up. Okay, so what I did is I took this 104 that has a lot of red in it, and I moved it over here to go with these two. And so I'm going to use these three and these three together to create what I'm hoping is going to look really, really cool on the dragonfly's wings. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start here before I start answering the first question, just so I can get an idea of exactly what it is I want to do. Now, I already sharpened my pencils with my Doll 133, and I think that I'm going to go ahead and start with the darker color first, because I usually always do the lighter color first when I'm doing my oil-based pencils. And I did kind of a combination of both down here on the roof to give it kind of a two-tone effect, which worked out really, really nicely. So let me go over here and just kind of start and see exactly what I want it to look like before I start answering questions and kind of take my concentration away from what I'm doing. So I'm just putting the dark color kind of sporadically, I guess. Okay, so this one and this one. See, this is like going to be kind of complicated for what it is I'm trying to do. So I just kind of want to place some of these colors so I have an idea of which one goes where. So we've got here, I'm kind of just skipping as I go down. Why on earth I decided to color the dragonfly on a question and answer video where I really need to concentrate on answering questions, I have no idea, but that's okay. Oh, that's the other wing. Okay, let's just get one wing going. And then I am going to make sure I keep this three set together, and then I'm going to come with my darkest color from the other one, and I'm going to start kind of laying my path where I'm going to want this series of colors in this combination. And then I could start answering some questions. And this is kind of a tutorial at the same time, or kind of a color along too, because for those of you that are following along, you'll have to let me know in the comments below if you have decided to kind of follow along with me on this. Okay, so I have my colors laid all throughout the wings, so I could kind of tell where I need to come in with the other colors. Let's go ahead and go to the first question. The first question was asked by Miles Finley Justice, and he said, when you have a page half finished and really like how it looks, how do you get past the fear of screwing it up to keep going with the page? I'm always so afraid of ruining a page when I change colors that I sometimes never finish the page. So, I don't know, like, sometimes I get to the middle of a page and then, I don't know, this is why I usually always follow a color palette, actually. I usually always follow a color palette. Like, I don't really have any pages that I haven't. I mean, yeah, of course, the pages where I have done tutorials, I don't usually follow a color palette on a lot of those because I'm just kind of showing you, you know, the way to do something in that tutorial, a specific technique or whatever. But on my pages that I want to finish, I don't really ever get to the middle of it and have a fear of screwing it up because I know that everything is fixable. And I have some videos that I've showed you. I have one in my tips and tricks series where I showed you how to fix a mistake. Like, even I showed you how to pull up all the pigment or most all of the pigment on a page if you feel like you made a mistake, and then go back and lay the colors, completely different colors, all down on that page again. So I'll try to find that video and I will link it up in the upper right hand corner. But I've got so many in that series and it's hard for me to remember exactly what is on which video without going back to watch it. But I definitely did a video on that. It is where I colored in the Erie book and I colored some flower pots. And so I gave you an example of what would happen if I kind of made a mistake and felt like going back and redoing it. But I want to encourage you to just keep on going and don't give up if you feel like you messed something up, because most of the time, whatever you're looking at and you feel like you messed it up, somebody else is going to look at that coloring page and I can assure you they're going to think it's beautiful. They do not see your mistake. Nobody else sees the mistakes, and the mistake is only in your own mind, because as with most things, we are our own worst critics, and a lot of times we have to just kind of let go of that. And it doesn't just happen with our coloring or anything that we're doing that's artistic. It has to do with just being human. And a lot of us are just that way. So we just need to kind of learn to let it go. Oh, I love these purples together. They're so pretty. I'm still kind of unsure about how this, see, like right now I'm kind of, you know, just kind of like what Miles asked, I'm kind of unsure about, oh, I think I missed a little part of this wing here, but I am kind of unsure. Like, I didn't know how this was going to turn out or how it was going to look. I'm just kind of trying to stay in my color palette, and I'm pulling the colors from the other part of the page, so down in here on the roof, and I'm kind of bringing them up to create balance. But that is one thing that you can do. You can just follow a color palette and just always make sure that you're creating balance on your page. So a good example would be, like, you see that I've got the purple in my roof here, and I am going to go up here, and I'm kind of bringing the colors that are here and adding a few other colors as I bring them up here. So the purples and all of the colors that are here are going to be in the wings on this dragonfly, and that's what creates balance on our page. So like now that I have the pink up here, or this combination of pinks and reddish, I am going to take those and I'm going to bring them downward. So as long as you're always creating balance within your page and within each object, you should never really run into an issue, and you just need to kind of learn how to get past that fear and not be afraid that you're going to, you know, mess up a page or what have you, because most of the time that is also how we learn. I need to get my pencil sharpener here, and I need to sharpen this purple. But that's the other thing. Don't ever look at whatever you feel like is a mistake. Don't ever look at that quote unquote mistake as a mistake. Look at it as a learning experience, because that's exactly what it is. If you do one thing one time and you don't like it, Then the next time you move on to another page, try something different. And just always learn from your mistakes. That would be my advice as far as that goes. So let's look at the next question. The next question is from Jennifer Henry, and she asked me, how long have you been coloring? What is your favorite set of pencils at the moment? What other hobbies do you have? And what is your favorite color combination? Oh, the color combination one. You guys, I can't answer that. I've got so many favorites. I love teals. And I don't know, it would depend on the pencil set. Like, I've got my favorites for Prismacolor, and Prismacolors are the ones, they're the pencil set that I'm going to come back and I'm going to start laying down my second layer. But Prismacolors are the pencils that I am most familiar with. So those are the ones that I just kind of know, and I don't have to swatch all my colors out first. I just kind of know exactly what I'm picking. And lately, when I've pulled out my Prismacolors, I've actually been forcing myself to use colors that I would not normally use. And that has really helped me. Like, I just started a page in that beautiful new coloring book that I just got that I am in love with. I did a flip through of it. I'll link it in the upper right hand corner. But I just did a flip through on that one, and I started coloring in it, and I decided to use colors that I would never normally use, that I mixed together to create rustic looking cabinets in a scene where the little girl is just kind of sitting in her kitchen with her little dog, and I think she's like making strawberry jam or something in that one, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's not that page, but she's in the kitchen at the table, and I wanted to turn the cabinets into a very rustic, old-timey looking cabinet, and so I really wanted to test out my Prismacolors and see what I could do in that paper. But I don't really have too many favorite color combinations. There's no one necessarily one that is a favorite, because I've got so many different ones. Like, I know exactly what I'm going to put together for my highlight color. If I'm going to pick something that has blues and teals in it, then I'll usually go with my light aqua, or I'll even add a little bit of cream. If I'm going to put some blues together, I usually try to always add my indigo blue, because I love that one so much, and I'll mix that with something else, and then my highlight color will be like my cloud blue. So I don't know, I've got a ton. This one goes over here. I can't mix up my sets of pencils because I'll lose track of what I'm doing, but I think this is looking really good so far. It's really pretty. I just have to come back. Now, with the oil-based pencils, you have to continue to just keep adding layers over one another, and I think, look, I missed right here, so I need to come back with my darkest color and lay that down. But you need to come back and you just keep laying down the layers with these pencils. They lay down beautifully. There are so many pencils that work so beautifully in this book. But as you continue to lay down very light layers with these oil-based pencils, it will just get darker and darker, and you will be able to see the pigment and how beautiful it is. Oh, was that my lightest color? I need to go all the way through here. I think I want to preserve some of the white of the paper. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to leave the white of the paper right next to my lightest color in every one of these wings, because that is going to make it just pop off the page, and you guys know me. I love doing that. And once I start coming back and I add this really dark color, look at that shadow pop. Oh, how cool. Is that so pretty? Okay, so she asked me what's your favorite set of pencils at the moment? At the moment, I am loving these. I really am. I just cannot get enough of these pencils. If you guys have not already bought these pencils, you need these pencils in your life. They are amazing. I went and bought my second set because with the way they go in and out of stock, I was so afraid that it would be a year from now and I would be missing a certain pencil and I would be upset. So I went and bought a second set to use as a replacement set in case that happens and they kind of like no longer exist, or they could end up going with a different vendor and the pencils happen to be different. You know, so many things happen with these pencils that are shipped from China. But if you guys don't have these pencils, you need to get them. And as always, I'll have a link down in the description. But look how pretty. Okay, so what was her other question? How long have you been coloring? So I've been coloring for, I don't know, it's kind of been on and off. Like I even took off a year in the middle till I started coloring again. But I started coloring when, I think I answered this in my last video, but I started coloring when all of, you know, like adult coloring became really, really big. And everybody was doing it, and you would go into the bookstores and you would just see Joanna Basford coloring books all over the place. What was that, like 6 years ago? And I think that I really started coloring because I just wanted something. It was kind of like a self-care thing for me because I had lost a bunch of weight. I don't know how many of you, I don't know. I know I'm friends with some of you on Facebook, but I have always struggled with my weight my entire life. I was even overweight as a very small child and always struggled with my weight. And I probably at my highest was around 320 pounds, and I'm only like 5'4" or so. So that's a lot of weight, guys. And I was absolutely miserable. But I decided that I was not going to be that way anymore. And so I busted my rear end and decided that I was going to do this once and for all because I was so miserable. And I got really scared one day because I took my children to these races. It was like, I don't know, it was like an event here at the racetrack. And I was going up a hill and it got to the point where I thought I was not going to be able to catch my breath. And I got really scared. And so I think that's kind of what did it for me. And so I decided that I was going to lose weight because if I didn't, then I was really scared for my health. And it was getting really difficult for me to just like get around and stuff and do things with my kids. And I just really wanted to be able to be there for my children. So I decided that I was going to lose the weight. And so I put in all the hard work and did it the right way. And I changed everything I was eating, and over a year and a half, or about, I don't know, 20 months or so, I lost about 170 pounds. And then I went on to become a personal trainer and a health coach, which I still do that now, and I love it. And I run challenges every month on Facebook for weight loss. I actually have one getting ready to start on Monday. And I actually have some of you that follow me here for coloring coming over to do some of my challenges, which I think is really, really cool. Anyways, I got really big on self-care and understanding how important self-care was, because you always need to take care of yourself first. And if you're not happy within yourself, then you can't possibly stay on track and be motivated to lose weight and eat healthy and all of the things, you know? So I decided that I needed something, you know, I needed to focus on self-care and kind of taking care, you know, care of myself and being as active as I had become and making sure I get my workouts in and exercising and, you know, movement and all of that stuff. I needed something as well to kind of take time out for myself in between the kids and everything else that I have going on. And so I started coloring and I found it really, really relaxing. And it was kind of a way for me to, let me start on the next wing here. But it was kind of, oh, that's the, I am mixing up my colors again, guys. Look at this. The blue goes over here. Okay. So it was kind of a way for me to just sit and relax and be with myself, which all of us need to do because that is so important. And so that's how I started coloring. It was started out as kind of a self-care thing. I know somebody asked me in my last video, like, why I started coloring, and I was just kind of, you know, like, I don't really know, I don't remember. And then I was sitting down today and I started thinking about that, and I'm like, I remember why I started coloring, duh. Like, why did I just get a complete brain freeze? Because I was filming, like I seriously did. But that's why I started coloring. And I gave it up for quite a long time just because life got busy. Oh no, that's, I'm trying to figure out here where I want my colors. Okay. See, this is the part I can't talk for. Here and here. It's like a puzzle, y'all. I think I did that right. I think I want this here too. And then I need, how about right here? So I could do these, the other color combination. I think I got them all. So yeah, and then I kind of stopped for a couple years. And then my husband, well, first I lost my dad. And that was really hard. And a couple months later, I found out my husband had cancer, like within 2 months. So that was really hard again. And we did a lot of sitting in the house, and life kind of slowed down because, you know, all of a sudden life changed. Oh, I don't want that color there. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay, see guys, I make mistakes too. But anyways, life really slowed down a whole lot. And so I started pulling out my coloring books again, and I pulled out the Erie book, and I pulled out my 36 set of Prismacolors. Or no, I think it was a Black Widows. Yeah, I was using my Black Widows then, but I pulled out my Black Widows and I just started coloring another page again, and a lot of time had gone by. But in all of this time, I've kept coloring, and sometimes I have more time for it, and sometimes I really don't have more time for it. So I kind of go back and forth. But lately, since I've been making YouTube videos, I color probably more than I used to because I do it for videos, and I kind of want this one not to be that color, so I'm just going to kind of go over it and change it. It made it a little bit darker, but because it blended the colors together, but that's okay. So that is how I started coloring. But I know that was a long story, but that's exactly what happened. And I just, you know, when life slowed down, I just kind of found something, you know, I found joy in just coloring because we were going through so much with my husband, and it's my job to kind of, you know, keep everybody happy while I keep myself happy. And, you know, I have to worry about the kids and stuff like that. So that's, yeah, that's what happened. So let me come back with my last color here on this. And remember, I'm trying to leave a little bit of white. So I was coloring on and off, you know, when I am not busy. And I still am, you know, I still have to take time out for my clients, you know, that I'm coaching, my weight loss clients, and to make sure that I still do all of those things. So I'm still running a business at home, and this has kind of turned into a business now too. So I am just kind of so busy. You guys have no idea. But I really love both things I'm doing. And now my husband, he was cancer free for a little while. They were able to remove the tumor, but then the cancer came back, and now it's stage 4, and it's moved to his lungs and his liver. So when we got that news, that is when I started this, because we ended up with a lot of downtime again, and that is also around the same time that COVID started. So it just kind of all hit at once with COVID and everything else. And so I had a lot of downtime. And so I decided to make my Facebook group and start, you know, somebody encouraged me to make a video. And so I did that, and it just kind of turned into this. And it's turning into more than I ever thought. And I am getting ready to approach more subscribers than I ever even thought was possible. But I just did my 8,000 subscriber giveaway, and we are approaching 9,000 now when I checked this morning, and it's just unbelievably crazy. It's such a blessing, like it really is, because all of this for me just kind of happened at the right time. And I could not be more thankful. Like, I would have never done this. I would have never thought that people would be watching me on YouTube, and I never ever thought that I would be teaching coloring. I never even looked at myself as a great enough colorist to be able to do what I've been doing for all of you. So this is just really cool. The next question is from Shannon McAllister Davis, and she says, do you ever get colorist block? If so, how do you get through it? So I'm going to take a break from coloring for a minute because I want to be able to answer the question, and it's so hard when I tell you guys. I don't know if you sit there and try to talk when you're trying to color and concentrate. It's so difficult. And it's like I'm looking at this and I like see so much I want to go back and like fix and stuff like that. And so yeah, let me go ahead and answer her question. Do I ever get colorist block? So I don't know, like that's the thing. Like I really don't, because if I do, I mean, I guess I should say I do, but when I do, I go grab a color palette and it usually just fixes everything. I mean, that is the honest truth. And I mean, I don't know. If you're having colorist block and you just, I don't know really what she means by colorist block. I'm assuming she kind of means maybe she's kind of lost a little bit of motivation for wanting to color. And I think you really need to have a picture or find the book or the artist or the picture that really motivates you and inspires you to want to color something. Because if you're not motivated and inspired by whatever you're coloring, you're not going to want to color it. I mean, who wants to do anything that they're not motivated and inspired by? And if you're coloring it and you have to constantly look at it and you're bringing color to a page, you want that page to really inspire you to want to finish it. But go pick out a page that you really are inspired by. Go find a color palette, whether you are using Sarah Renee Clark's awesome coloring catalog, or you go on Pinterest and you search for a color palette. Go find a color palette. Go find one of my videos that teaches you how to match up your pencils and do it that way, or just use it like I am for this page and just use it kind of as a starting point and that's usually how I get through it. But you need to actually sit down and take the time to do those things and just kind of relax while you're doing it. I usually have music playing in the background while I'm doing it. So that really helps. But yeah, that's basically how I get through it. And sometimes I even have to force myself to sit down and color because I know that I really need to. Like when life gets really, really busy, I try to keep myself on a schedule with my videos. And like right now, I'm trying to get a weight loss challenge together. And so I'm doing everything at once. And it is the last quarter for my kids. Today is actually the last day, and my son had a bunch of really bad grades and things that he didn't do. And so of course it takes me emailing teachers and taking care of all of that. And I don't know, there's just a lot going on. So like last night I sat and I forced myself to color. I pulled out the Forest Girl and I just told myself, you're gonna color, like you're just gonna do it. And I'm glad I did that because it was so relaxing. And the night before I did the same thing, and I printed out a page on my favorite marker paper. I wanted to be able to experiment a little bit more with markers because I don't know, I'm just like, I'm not generally a marker colorist, but it's like I really want to do better with them. And I do okay with them, and I've done some really beautiful things, but I don't grab them too often because I just really love my colored pencils, and I feel like colored pencils really allows you to be so much more creative. So I'm definitely a colored pencil girl, but as you can tell by my channel. But I love learning new things, and I love experimenting with other art mediums. And so I really just wanted to sit and try that. And so I printed out a page on my favorite marker paper the other night from a Jade Summer book, and I started on it. And I started coloring with marker, and I told myself, you're not going to lay pencils over this. You're just going to color with markers and try to do the best with your blending. But I really wanted to practice with my brush tipped markers because I've been watching some videos on YouTube where people are coloring with markers, and it's just really made me want to pull my markers out. So I forced myself to do that really late the other night too. Of course, I ended up staying up too late when it was really, I should have been in bed. But I was like, if that's the only time I'm going to get to myself, then let me just sit here and enjoy myself. And I did. And so that was a lot of fun. And I gotta add some of my lightest color here, but this side will be done pretty soon. Look at this beautiful pink, guys. It's gorgeous. But I'm probably gonna have to cut this video short and finish these a little bit off camera because I want to go see my grandkids. And my daughter texted me and said, we're home now. And I don't know how many of you guys are grandmothers, but I always jump for my grandkids. Even no matter how busy I am, I jump for my grandkids. So I think this video has already gotten quite long because I'm looking at my battery on my camera. But I will come back with another one. I know we only answered 3 questions, but I like to really kind of turn the questions into a chat because I think that's really, really cool. And I think it really helps you guys to get to know me. And I really like, you know, my channel to be a little bit more personal because I don't know, I really like getting to know you guys too. And I know a lot of you have shared a lot of yourselves or a lot about yourselves in my Facebook group. And I really appreciate that. We've got so many people just really becoming close online friends. It's such a wonderful community. So I encourage everyone to really just share about yourselves because it is really nice to get to know other people and just kind of, I don't know, sometimes like when people are going through things and you kind of sometimes think, oh, well, you know, I'm going through this and like nobody else is going through these things. But it's nice to sometimes listen to other people and know that other people are kind of going through the same things that you're going through and they understand you. Like there are people out there that understand you. And the other thing is, I've got a huge community on Facebook of over 4,000 members, I think now, or pushing 4,000. And we all have the same interest. And I mean, I never thought that I would be able to bring a community like that together. But it is just so amazing because the group is so active and we all are able to share so much and everyone is so supportive. So if you're not in my Facebook group, please do join us. We would love to have you over there. But I will come back with the next question and answer. And we will continue with these questions. If you have any questions for me that you want me to add to my list, please place those in the comments below. I always try to get to your comments. I always try to respond to everybody, but you guys are getting awfully chatty down there, and sometimes it's a little hard for me. You know, I have to kind of like fit it into real life, but I always do try to get in there and answer all of your comments. But everything you've seen in my video today will be linked down in the description box below. So if you're interested in anything you've seen, go ahead and check down there. And I'm going to finish these wings off camera and I'm going to edit this video and I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy coloring. Bye.